So in Diablo 2 Resurrected, people need high runes, whether it's for making your Enigma, your Call to Arms, your Heart of the Oak, or maybe need that Zod rune to go ahead and put that in your Ethereal Templar's Might. Alright, well, maybe not so much the last one, unless you're a Giga Chad, that is. They can be incredibly hard to come by, so I thought today would be a great idea to reveal the 5 areas where I find most of my high runes. And only one of these is actually a common area. The other 4 I guarantee are gonna surprise you, but at the end of the video, I'm gonna give you the secret to how I find so many high runes here. So the first one is incredibly common, but this one's gonna be exclusively single player offline, and that's going to be doing lower Kuras super chest farming. Now pretty much the idea for this is you just find a map with these campfires right next to the waypoint, and you just spam farm these 6 total chests between these 4 different huts. Now they have a really high chance of dropping high runes, well that is relative to other places in the game I suppose, but the thing is too is, in my opinion on offline single player, it is the most consistent. There is, of course, going to be RNG involved. In my experience, a lot of other people agree as well. This is going to be the go-to way, at least to get your Enigma early on, but you can get all different types of other mid runes. You can get high runes from there, of course, to make your Heart of the Oak or Call to Arms like I mentioned in the intro, but also you get tons and tons and tons of crafting material. There's all other kinds of stuff around like racks that you can go ahead and get socketed items to make those rune words, and you don't have to do any damage at all. Your character can stink, it can suck, and you can still get those high runes. So if I was ever starting an offline single player, running lower Kuras here in Act 3 of Hell on players 8 difficulty or 7 is the way I would go. Next up is a crucial spot that I go really at the beginning of a lot of ladders, and that is actually going down and farming the Countess, but really I find the runes on the way down in the tower. Now the Countess is great to run by yourself. You can get runes up to Is from a rune drop table. There is that incredibly low chance of getting the low rune from her monster drop table, but I've never found one in my entire life. But also farming the Countess, you go ahead and get keys, which online ladder you can trade up to get better gear or even get high runes that way. Because of course you need those keys in order to open up the portals and to get torches eventually. But I'm not counting trading keys and stuff to get the runes. Actually, on the way down, killing the different monster packs, I actually find quite a few this way. Now it can be dangerous with these archer packs, but the little Rakanishu looking monsters, the Devilkins or whatever they're called in this area, super easy to kill incredibly fast. You have ghost packs along the way, which those actually have a higher rune drop chance than standard monsters. The great thing about the tower too, there's always certain tiles that have an armor and a weapons rack along with it, and down at the bottom there's another armor and weapons rack as well. A great place early on in the ladder to hopefully get lucky and find your 4-socketed monarch, or even at least get a white one that you can Larzik. But yeah, super common that I find high runes though taking these packs out, heading down to farm the Countess. Next up is a spot that's known for hunting those super high level unique items, the ones you're trying to get when you're completing a Holy Grail, and I find lots of high runes down in the pits. Now there isn't really necessarily anything inherently special about the pits I suppose as far as it comes to high runes, but like I was saying before, this is kind of a classic place for people to go with their item find barbs, or really a ton of different characters really, in order to get those high level uniques. The good thing about it, once again in Act 1, similar to the tower, the monster packs can be incredibly weak, but also once again there could be those archers down there, so you got to be careful. But it's really easy to find and get to. You just follow the path back to it, you slap down the monsters down there, and while you're trying to get these high level uniques or anything else you're hoping to find down there, one thing you're hoping to find of course is those high runes. And just for a kind of example, the only Zod rune I have ever found in my entire life I got from right here down in the pits. So those last 3 were actually ones that you would farm all the time, even back in LOD. But this new one is actually one that was updated for Diablo 2 Resurrected. It was turned into an 85 area, and that is the Stony Tombs. Now this is a spot that is incredibly good for cold builds and for fire builds, but with the ease of getting Sunder Chimes nowadays, really you can get out there with any build really. So I'm even hopping down there with my Energy Shield and Nova Sorceress quite a bit, especially when it's terrorized. So just like the pits, this is a go-to spot to get those high level uniques, whether you're looking for a D-Web, Griffin's Eye, etc, etc. So while you're slapping down those packs super simple with your Blizzard Sorceress or your Fireballer, or like in my case, Energy Shield and Nova Sorceress after you break the immunities that are down there, I quite often will pull myself a high rune out of the Stony Tombs. This one is actually pretty easy to find too. Just head out of Act 2, you teleport around out there in that particular area till you come across the tomb. It's that easy. Now next up, similar to kind of like the tower, you're going out there to get one of the keys to go ahead and farm Ubers or to trade those up. We're going after another key and we're heading out to the Arcane Sanctuary. Now this place is great, a lot like some of the other places on this list, because you don't have to search for it at all. You just go to the Arcane Sanctuary waypoint, start slaying. Now you don't know exactly where the summoner's at in order to get that final key that you need here, but the thing is, along the way, there's tons of these weak goat men that are pretty easy to kill, and once again, there are ghost packs all over the place. Same as before, these ghost packs have a higher rune drop chance, hopefully getting that jaw, that burr, that ohm. Another great thing is at the end of some of these platforms, there actually are super chests that, they've been known for me anyways to pop out even some mid runes. I haven't been lucky enough to get anything higher than like a Vex, but you definitely can. If you clear the entire area, it is quite large. Usually I'll go ahead and run down one side, then the other, and I just go until I find the summoner, and then I just go ahead and reset the map. So that way I can try to get more keys faster. The summoner doesn't drop too much, but these packs along the way do. So knocking these keys out is kind of a priority for me, but hey, while you're out there taking out those keys, quite often I do find high runes as well. Now up for the last one, and don't leave when I'm strictly done with this, because I'm going to give you the secret tip of why I find so many high runes and stuff out here. And we're talking about Eldritch and Shank. This is by far probably the easiest place to find in the entire game. You just go to that frigid waypoint. There's Eldritch right there. Go back the other way. There you find Shank. The great thing about these, they have whole packs of minions around them, which most people know, in order to find high runes, really clearing density is what you'll want to do most of the time. So there's incredibly easy monsters around them. They are immune to cold, but besides that, if you're any other build, if you're a Necromancer, Energy Shield, Nova Sorceress, you can clear them out super easy. And with it being so easy to find, it's incredibly common for people to go ahead and run something like Eldritch and Shank, go run Pindle, go run Thrushsocket, go run the Pits, call that a wrap on that run, and reset. So Eldritch and Shank is thrown into almost any set of runs that anyone is ever doing. But you can definitely get more than just the stuff off the large packs that are around it. You can actually get some pretty dang good uniques right off of Eldritch and Shank as well. You could easily get some of those caster gloves, the Trangs or Mage Fists. You could get yourself a Shaco, Oculus, things along those lines to help your character out. And of course, you're hoping one of those monsters around there drops you one of those high runes. Now, hopefully you still stuck around, because now I'm giving you the secret to finding high runes out there. And this can go for any areas that you really love to farm. My most best tip for finding high runes is don't usually go out and only try to find high runes. With the exception of running Lower Kurast, that's specifically targeted for high runes really, but you can get tons of other great stuff out there. You notice all four of the other areas are places you go and farm where you're kind of looking for something else, and you just kill monsters as fast as you can, and then they drop off. So it's one of the best tips I could give any Diablo 2 player really. Always have multiple tasks at hand when you're out there. So you're going down to the Countess hoping to get those keys and stuff? Well, you're trying to find high runes along the way. You're going out to the pits to find those crazy high level uniques? You're finding high runes along the way. Stony Tombs, exactly the same. Eldritch and Shank, those packs right there are just so incredibly easy. You're hoping to get things off of them, but hey, you might as well take the monster kills when they're that easy to get and hoping for a high rune along the way. So even though a lot of people recommend Chaos Sanctuary, Cows, or Trav for getting high runes, I personally do not enjoy these areas very much. So instead, I go ahead and choose areas I really do love to enjoy that are great for the builds that I enjoy playing. And that's where I end up finding my high runes. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, I guess you probably enjoyed the video. So make sure you check this one out right up over here. I bet you're going to love that one too.